first one, but kind of run through it. We may have to change a little bit of the agenda, how we work it, but we got one, and this is January 12th, 180 Maple Street at 6 p.m. Offline here, we all work offline. All right, so we got a forum, and we got that first. Everybody rise and say a little prayer. Yeah. Boards, we gather here tonight to take care of the city business. We pray that you'll give us guidance and wisdom, and use the best judgment of what we think is best for the city and what we do in our humble work as we go through our day. We ask the Lord to guide and protect us, and pray over us, and to do this meeting. In God's name we pray. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here.
Ross.
Here.
Jimmy White.
Here.
Gabe Williams.
Here.
Sandra Wood.
Here.
The next order is the minutes. We got the last meeting, if you have a chance to look over, if there's any amendments to it, or any changes, or so, I understand at this time. We have not, take a motion to approve this.
Second.
Got a second. Call roll.
Chip Clark.
Yes.
Roger Lofton.
Yes.
Tim Rhodes.
Yes.
Donna Ross.
Yes.
Jimmy White. Gabe Williams. Sandra Wood.
Yes.
All right, what we have now is comments from the mayor. This is our first public utility meeting. I know that, like I said at the beginning of this, it's kind of a learning curve for us so we can work through it. We like to deal with utilities separate from the city. That's why we're going to hold these meetings. We may have to change the meeting swap between it and the city meeting on the fourth Monday. Reason being is the financials cannot be put together for the utilities to by the 15th. And doing so, we'll be a month late dealing with financials. So we're looking in to swapping the meeting. We'll address it at the monthly meeting with the city, but I think we may have to swap because I like to have the financials in front of everybody when we have utility meetings so we can discuss current facts and what we got pertaining to that. Like I said, if you'll kind of bear with us, we'll try to do it. Next, we have public comments. I think Mr. Dyer would like to address the board as usual. It'll be short and sweet, 5 minutes, clock running.
What this is,
First, the name and address, sir.
my name is Ronnie Dyer, I live in Wallace, Tennessee, and what this is, everybody's got a copy there that I presented. This is where Carroll County does a even pay on gas bills. And it's something that Lexington should look into because it will help the customers. I don't know if you're familiar with it from Carroll County, but Chester County also does it. And it's after you pay the bill for the year, you can call them. They usually send out a letter, but they don't call them. And they base it on your past winter's usage. And you pay, like I say, if they tell you your bill's gonna be $40, $50 a month, that's what you pay every month for 11 months, which you ain't missing. And then the gas goes down after that first year, your gas rate goes down as you pay. If it goes up, you might go up $1 or $2. But it would help save money to the customers. To go on that flat rate, they call it even pay now, I used to call it flat rate program. But it would really help to check into it. And on the back page, just Carroll County's phone numbers, which I call and talk to them. They couldn't understand when I said something about we had to pay a gas delivery. They didn't understand that. She said, "Are you talking about propane?" I said, "No, I'm talking about gas." And she said, "We don't do that up here." So I know back when I had it years ago, I paid roughly $6.30 a month through the winter for gas heat when I had my trailer. So it's a real good program. It's just, I think Lexington should get involved with it and try to save customers some money. It will benefit the customers to do the flat rate and pay
appreciate it, thank you, Ron. Unfinished business, we got, second reading on the ordinance of adopting gas rate, and, we voted on it one time, this will be the last and final vote, so we'll entertain a motion to either approve or not approve. Motion approved.
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? Call vote.
Roger Lofton,
Yes.
Tim Rhodes,
No.
Donna Ross,
No.
Jimmy White,
No.
Gabe Williams,
Yes.
Sandra Wood, Chip Clark.
No.
So it fails 4-3, correct?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask if I could to have this noted in minutes. I'll talk to you about this, we continue to let, Mr. Rhodes sit on this board in conflict with our city charter. We got a 4-3 vote here in which he is one of the majority. And I foresee there being problems in the future with votes being cast, motions being made, seconded, with someone who shouldn't be sitting on this board according to our city charter. So I would just like that put in the minutes, please.
So recorded. Madeline, did you get that? Tim?
Can I respond to that?
Yes, sir, you're welcome to.
That's correct, it's 4-3 to vote. It was 4-3 for the last 2 years, except for the other way. So, are you really wanting me, if it got anything to do with the charter, or is it control of the board? Where I could be replaced with somebody who you could dictate to, or whoever. And also, I'd like to say, you, during them 4-3 votes, voted for raises without disclosing or without disqualifying yourself for money that went to your personal family.
Is there a question there?
No, there's no question. That's a fact.
Is there a question there somewhere?
Yes.
You should not be sitting on this board, our city
Okay,
charter
for
says.
what reason? For what reason are you really? For what reason are you really?
Let me finish, I'll let you.
Okay, well, now I'm gonna
And you sit there and say, I'm on a 4-3 vote.
You did.
Somebody will be appointed in your place according to the charter. I don't know how that makes it 4-3 any kind of way. I'm sure that whomever gets put on the board, I would hope would have a mind of their own and not tied to anybody.
I don't think you want that.
Unlike,
But having a mind of their own is why you don't want me sitting here. Having a mind of their own is why you do not want me sitting here.
unlike you, Mr. Rhodes.
I sure won't be dictated to by you. Or intimidated. Facts.
You just go right ahead and do what you got to do, and so will we.
Okay?
You know, you, sat here and we swore to uphold the city charter. You did, I got it.
Also, there has been case law
See what
against
that
that.
means to you.
Also, there has been case law against that. I have a piece of property right here in town
That doesn't keep you
that
right, you know it.
that I may have intentions of
You
building
know it,
on,
and I know
but
it.
your business,
You
my
know it,
business
and I
is
know
not
it.
yours.
You're sitting here and you shouldn't be on the board. And you
You're
don't
getting
have
called
enough
out
person
right now.
or character
You
to
are
do what you
called
are to
out
do.
right now. You have done nothing at all since you come to this board for the taxpayer. You work on like a Verizon plan. It's called Friends and Family.
Gentlemen, I believe that's enough for that. We'll talk about this more after the meeting.
Sir, did you, Mayor, I didn't hear what you said.
I said, I believe that's enough for that. We'll talk about this after the meeting. Thank y'all. New business. Discuss approved vehicle well, first of all, really, I'll need to turn it over to whichever committee chairman. Seven-two? Oh, I'm sorry. 7-2 is not gonna be discussed now, I'm sorry, because, he's not gonna be here, Colin told us he wasn't gonna be here. Probably moving for the meeting, if it is, I think we'll have worked out of it. Maybe he called, told us that. Okay, sorry about that. New business, now we're dealing with utilities. The first one up is, we got, this is this gas or water? It's water. Water, okay. I believe that's Sam, you got the water and gas.
I've got water.
I mean, sewer.
I got
Water,
water.
sewer, yeah. So that's good.
So, we had a truck that caught on fire, and pretty much burnt and destroyed it. I'm looking to replace this truck. We did, the insurance finally got back with us, and we know what we're getting in return. We're getting $42,476, and the new truck is $86,281. So that'll be a budget difference of $43,805 to purchase the new truck. We are looking at, getting the bed off of that truck. We do have another truck we need to replace, in the next budget. And taking the bed off of this truck, we bought it back from insurance and then applying that to just buying a cab chassis truck next budget year and then putting this bed on.
This is a utility bed truck, yes.
We don't have any surplus vehicles that could do until,
We have two spares across the utilities. We've got one spare and one kind of floater vehicle that we do use, and that across gas and water that we just use when needed. And we sold 8 trucks last year, surplus trucks, and we only replaced 4 of them. So, like I said, we're getting kind of down.
anyone else on the board have any questions for Mr. Rhodes? No comments, I will entertain a motion to approve the vehicle purchase, which will cost the utilities $43,805. Is that correct, Justin? We have the money for that?
What line item do we have the money in?
Capital budget.
Have you got any thoughts on this? Have you got any thoughts on this?
Justin talked to me about replacing this vehicle, and we really have the money in the budget to replace it, so I recommend purchasing it.
I make a motion to purchase it.
You have a second for that? We have a motion and a second. If no more discussion, call the roll, please.
Tim Rhodes,
Yes.
Donna Ross,
Yes.
Jimmy White,
Yes.
Gabe Williams,
Yes.
Sandra Wood,
Yes.
Chip Clark,
Yes.
Roger Lofton.
Yes.
Next item is 8.2, which is discuss and approve the delinquent accounts write-offs for 2025 quarter 4. That is you, that's not me, I'm sorry. Donna? Sorry.
That's me.
That's you.
Well, she did such a fine job. Brad, you wanna come up and address that?
Write-offs, for the past quarters in that of $28,539.30. Quarter 4 is typically a little bit higher than the rest of the quarters. The main driver of that is, throughout the year, we'll have, infrastructure damage. Example would be, there's a car wreck, runs into one of our poles, breaks it. We'll turn around and invoice the person who damaged the property. Sometimes those can be hard to collect on. One reason would be maybe the driver of the vehicle is not an account holder for Lexington Electric, so we don't really have any leverage to actually get the money from that person. That's just one example of a few that I can think of.
Just out of curiosity, the insurance company, the driver of the car not have to pay that?
Most of the time, that's what we'll use as leverage to get the money. Sometimes there'll be some back and forth and they'll deny it, but yeah, a lot of times it does.
Hey, Brad, page 11, it's our page 11, I don't know what it is, I don't remember, but there's two on that same page. One of them, they're both really, really expensive. Is that one, are those the two for the restaurant?
What's the dollar amount on there?
One's 4608.59 and the other one's 4432.53. I won't call the name, but no.
Let me see if I can find it.
It's on my page 11.
Yeah, so the 4608.59, that's the restaurant Lexington that we're right now.
Alright, and that's the second from the bottom.
That's one of the invoices for the infrastructure.
Okay.
Is there any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Donna Ross,
Yes.
Jimmy White,
Yes.
Gabe Williams,
Yes.
Sandra Wood,
Yes.
Chip Clark,
Yes.
Roger Lofton,
Yes.
Tim Rose.
Yes.
Okay, Brad, 8.3 is our training and safety report.
So I'll give kind of a rundown of the training and safety report. So this all started back in around 2004. The Power Board at the time requested that the electric system provide a training and safety report on a monthly basis and report that during the board meetings. So we've pretty much done that same routine ever since then. It stopped being presented to the board right around COVID when there was a mix-up with how the meetings were conducted and all that. And they started being emailed out in the month, which is what I've been doing. Now that we're doing separate utility meetings, I'm putting this back into the agenda, just in case there's any questions or discussion on it. And I'll just throw this out here too, since this was done back in 2004, and it's just been kind of a routine thing that we've done for so long, does the board find it relevant today that we provide this information? I'll do it, I have no issue providing the training and safety report, but, I mean, we all know that what was relevant in 2004 may not be relevant today. So, the board just tells me what to do, and then I'll either continue to do the report or do something different, whatever y'all think.
I'm very much in favor of them, and I wish we had them for all departments.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll keep providing them. I did change the format on this one a little bit, kind of to reflect more of today's, reality. So y'all can look over if you have any questions on it. I included the linemen that are in their apprenticeship program. We got 2 that are expected to become journeymen, part-time journeymen at the end of this year, the fall of this year. The rest of them are in their 3rd year, and then we got the most recent hire who will be getting started this year. So if you got any questions on it, just you can ask me now, ask me later, however you want to do it.
Does anybody have any questions?
Okay. So the next one, the outage report, that's a similar report that was started back, in the early 2000s. It's a little more useful on the outage report, so if y'all are good with it, I'll continue to do that. The only major outage we had for the month of December was the only one that's on the list. That was a cold front that came through, had some high winds with it, took the mattress trace line out, so we had several people off on that one. But we were able to get it short fairly quickly. Luckily, one of the trouble men lives close to the area, so he was able to get there and respond quickly. So that's the only one that's on the list of pretty good month in December for outages. Any questions on the outage report or how it's being handled?
Yeah, 8.5 is our
Okay.
LexNet take rate.
Alright, so this was requested that I start providing the take rate figures for LexNet. That was something I had been including in the emails that I was sending out at the end of the month, but I'll be glad to do this in the board meeting setting in case there's any questions about the take rates. You can see we're right at 30% with a little over 6,800 total customers, and then you got the breakdown by service area. The service area is in order from when we released them, so
in line with where we thought it was
So,
supposed to
so
be?
30% was the target. The business plan forecasted that it would take us about 4 years to reach 30%. We reached it in about 2.5 years. We're still growing in every area. So I think realistically, it'll take a few more years to get there, but I think we'll probably be in 35, a little over 35% take rate. That's all said and done.
That's great.
Any other questions regarding take rates? Okay. Next on the list was the construction policies for the fiber installation. So the reason I put this on the list is I'm looking for a little bit of guidance on how the board would like me to respond to certain topics. I got two in particular I'm asking about. So since day one, we've been advertising that LexNet is for Lexington electric system customers. It's available to any Lexington electric system customers. We've had a few different cases where we may have somebody that lives on our system, but they have decided to generate their own power. So they're not a Lexington electric right now. They may have put in their own solar, cells and generate their own power that way. But they're requesting LexNet service. So in those three instances we've had, we've, told them, well, we're marketing this as a product for Lexington electric system customers. The last one that requested that, it would have been an easy hookup. It wouldn't have taken a lot of work on the construction side to get him LexNet service. He was a little tore up about, why we were telling him he couldn't have it. So this can be a discussion, but is this the messaging that LexNet should be giving to those customers? And my personal recommendation is this can cover a lot of different. You can have easy hookups, but another one that's requested the same thing live a good mile away from any electric infrastructure. So you could have a hookup that would be very minimal installation to a lot of construction costs to get installed. So I think we need to have a policy set in place to protect us and get our messaging clear. I think if you're not a Lexington electric system customer, you should be subject to some installation costs to be able to get the service to you. Because even if the poles from here to that wall over there, we might still actually have to go in and install a pole or something to get the wire routed around the house appropriately. So there could still be some fairly significant construction costs to get that done. So if the board would like, I can put some policies together that we can discuss and decide if we want to implement those or not.
Yes. You know more about it than we do.
Well, I deal with it more so every day, but that's something I'm saying that's probably not going to go away. I intend that we'll probably get some more of those requests, and I would just like to have something in writing that I can sit on that.
That seems very logical, we're not a customer of electric, that they would have to pay for this.
Yeah, so it makes sense that they're going to get the electric service first if you're a new customer. So we'll establish a power route to get into the home, and then we just follow with fiber behind that to get to the home broadband service. But if you don't have power, then it's kind of up for grabs.
That still gives them the option for internet if they choose, so
That's
still
right.
gives them an option.
I think it's in our best interest to be able to give them service as long as they're willing to have some skin in the game too.
Yes.
I agree.
And then the second reason I'm bringing this up is due to new subdivision request. So if somebody's going to develop a subdivision, we'll go ahead and install the power to serve every lot in the subdivision. And that brings along, well, now we have to bring the broadband business. Do we need to actually set up the infrastructure to get the broadband there to serve every lot too? Which would be, some significant construction costs to make that happen. Not saying the developers should pay, every bit of the money necessary to do that, but there should probably be some kind of shared cost where we provide the labor, maybe the cable, and then the developer provides the other equipment. Some kind of shared cost, which is a pretty standard practice across the industry. So that could be something else we could talk about putting a policy in. We actually had one subdivision get developed in the Caterville. It was a small one, about a 15-lot subdivision in the rural part of the Caterville. We got the electric set up per our subdivision policy, and then once that was set up, they said, okay, well, what about fiber? We need fiber to serve every lot, and so here we are. So.
reason I say average cost, so we can tell somebody if it's in a subdivision, and that rules out everybody who is, especially, you know, if only out there outside of a subdivision, it costs us more, so that we come up with a general cost.
We would have a, general cost of, a cost per customer for the whole project, as far as what we're taking to build out the whole system.
The reason I'm asking that, so if they ask that, we can give them some kind of number, so they understand, and look at what the board could look at, what we thought would be an average cost that we could afford, and they could afford to be fair for the customer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we would have to get that data and go. Yeah.
So you're gonna get us some policies together to review?
Yes, that would be the plan. I'm just looking for, if that's the direction I need to go, put some policies together, and then I can bring those to the board. They can be discussed and debated, however, you know, need to.
Back to the subdivision, Brad, I'm thinking as you're saying that, so they're gonna have to pay or help pay for the electric installation.
Yes, so we have a policy in place that outlines how we get the electric installed inside of a new
But
subdivision.
any other customer that already had electric, they would get installation for fiber for free.
Well, yeah, so right now, it's just kind of wild west and how we're going to fiber this subdivision, but what we would do practically right now is we would wait until that first person wanted the broadband service and just, you know, build out to that one person. But what you really want to have is a whole system in place in the subdivision that every lot can be served by the fiber. So that way, when that person gets ready to build on that lot, you know, the service is already readily available.
And forgive me, I'm just trying to look at, I'm actually trying to encourage development, so if we got the electrical part done, the first person moves into their new house, would they not get the hookup for Lexington for free?
Yeah, I mean, there will be no construction costs to the customer.
So why would the developer need to go ahead and build out before the first house is sold?
Well, the fiber may not be available to that customer, you know, it could be, the developer could sell the lots saying the fiber is there ready to be.
But until somebody lives there, there's no need to have fiber. I'm just trying to understand what the angle there, because it makes logical sense to me that we would provide electrical hookup, we gotta have that to finish the house and get it built, but there's not really a need.
Well, you know, the subdivision could be out a long ways away from where we have existing fiber facilities,
So
so.
we're talking electrical, but if we're providing electricity, then we're gonna hook up the fiber in time anyway for free, based on other customers.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So I guess I'm trying to understand from, if I'm a developer, as long as we get electricity run from Lexington Electric, then the first owner of the home in that subdivision would get free hookup for their Lexington service.
Yeah,
Based on how we.
yeah, there would be no installation cost to the first time.
So you see my point with that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Because
because
if I'm a developer, why I wanna pay for the fiber up front whenever I sell a house or get a homeowner, whether
Yeah,
it's
if you're a developer, you're better off doing what we're doing right now.
just blizzard, I mean, just don't mess with it.
well, especially if it, I mean, at 30% take rate, if he goes 10 houses, if he pays for 10 to be put in there, and if he doesn't take it.
Right.
Of course, yeah,
Right. I'm just trying to say that.
but we won't have the facilities in place to be able to serve.
I understand, but at the same time, like Gabe said, we're trying to encourage development, we can't add fees, we're taking away.
Yeah. And
As
that's-
long as when they sell a house or somebody builds a custom house in their subdivision, Lexington Electric is gonna provide them internet with no installation cost. I don't see why we or the developer would need to pursue
Yeah.
additional infrastructure, unless I'm missing something, that's why I'm asking.
Well, the issue you run into is if it's a significant subdivision where you're gonna have several lots being built on, somebody's gonna have to invest the money to get the fiber in there to meet the capacity. So it's
Would
either,
it not be us, the system?
it'll be the system that will, have policy in place.
Once the first house is sold or occupied.
I mean, we could build it, it may be just a service drop to get to that house, or it may need to extend the main line and do quite a bit of splicing, put it in the cabinet, you know, stuff like that, so.
I'm just more angling for the developer, I don't wanna charge the developer additional money that's not necessary, because obviously, if we're gonna get a new service from Lexington with a monthly payment every month for the foreseeable future from that house we don't have today, that should be a financially okay thing for the system.
I'm just looking out to protect the system on this, so,
But we don't
you know,
know.
the smaller subdivisions, not as big a deal, it's really the larger scale ones that could potentially.
But I've seen this, I mean, somebody somebody does a subdivision development, they do 25 lots, they don't ever get sold or built on. Okay, so I mean,
Yes,
they never get
correct.
built on.
Yeah, they take a while to materialize, yeah.
So what I'm saying though is as long as the house gets occupied, constructed, occupied, and or sold, that means you're gonna have a ratepayer at that time. So at that time is when we would pay the infrastructure cost to hook up that house.
Yeah. In some cases it'll be a little, in some cases it'll be a lot to actually do that to the house.
So that would be the risk. If we only end up with 2 houses in subdivision, we pay the big expense to run all the fiber and only get 2 customers out of the deal long term. That would be a possible drawback. I'm open-minded about that. You see my point? I mean,
Yeah,
I can see.
and I could put together something, let the board get a feel for the way I'm thinking through this a little bit, and, you know, it's all up to the board after that.
We all think we agree that we want to encourage development, so anything that's somewhat reasonable, we want to protect the system, but we also want to, not cause any unnecessary expenses on developers that we're going to get some benefit of.
That's understood.
But again, because if you get a 100-lot subdivision, I've seen them, you've seen them, we've all seen them, a bunch of lots get done, but it takes 20 years to ever get a house built on some or all of them. That's not good for the system to pay for infrastructure and never get any ratepayers in the foreseeable future.
Right. Someone told me they were building a pool and the cable, the fiber got cut, and that they still had contractors coming out there. At some point in time, Lexington will handle that themselves, won't they?
We could have the ability to handle that ourselves. Of course, we don't necessarily have all the equipment needed to do some of that type of work. You know, if it's aerial drops, I'm assuming that was underground, they got hit, if it was a full installation. But if it's an aerial drop, we've got the equipment in-house that we can make those repairs, those are a lot easier to handle. We don't have the machinery that's needed to actually plow in new areas and stuff like that. Are we headed that direction? Yeah, probably. We're just, we just don't have the equipment to do that. So it just, we're able to provide a good service, utilize the contractors for auditing and stuff like that. So, if we want to be pushed in the direction to acquire that equipment to do that, I think we're in the direction to go that way if we need to.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion on that? Not, we'll move on to 8.7, discuss and approve the purchase of a digger derrick truck.
Okay, so, I'm looking for board approval on the purchase of the digger derrick truck, and I'll kind of give a rundown on how these typically play out. There's in order to obtain either a digger derrick truck or a large bucket truck, you had to get placed on the waiting list to actually get those built and spec to you. We were put on this list back in early 2023. Just now materialized that this truck was built according to our specs. It was dropped off at the warehouse a couple weeks ago. So we need more approval before I purchase it. It would be to replace our oldest unit, which is a 2007 model. If the board approves this purchase, we would turn around and sell off the 2007 model. But the final price on that is $401,708.58. And this is a budgeted purchase.
It is budgeted.
Yeah, we budgeted $395. That was the price at the time whenever we created the budget. It did go up a little bit when it got built.
How much is the 2007, you think it was?
It's hard to say. It'll be auctioned off. We actually have a few different pieces of equipment that we plan on auctioning at the same time. One's just a regular pickup truck. One is our old right-of-way bucket truck. If we proceed with this purchase, we'll sell off the old digger truck. And then we got an old low-boy trailer and a truck that pulls it that we're going to auction off to. It's beyond its useful life. So we probably got about $75,000 worth of equipment to sell off.
Anyone have any questions? No, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion.
Call the roll.
Jimmy White.
Yes.
Gabe Williams.
Yes.
Sandra Wood. Chip Clark.
Yes.
Roger Lofton,
Yes.
Tim Rhodes,
Yes.
Donna Ross.
Yes. And that brings us to 8.8 Silicon Ranch Solar Farm update.
So it's been a while since, I've talked about the solar farm project. And I'll kind of give a quick history of how this all played out. So, throughout our history, and I made some notes, so I'm just gonna read through these to make sure I don't forget or miss anything. But, throughout our history, we've been contractually bound by TVA to purchase all generation through TVA. That's been throughout the history of LDS. So, recently TVA began allowing local power companies, which would be like Lexington Electric System, to purchase a defined amount of generation locally or through a third-party supplier. This is ultimately due to increased demand within the Tennessee Valley. So basically, demand is growing rapidly in the Tennessee Valley. Tennessee TVA is having a difficult time keeping up with the increased demand. So they're kind of forced into a position where they're allowing power companies to buy either generated locally or buy through a third-party supplier, which is what we're doing here. So back in 2023, LES and TVA executed an agreement which would allow LES to purchase up to 5% of its electrical demand, in our case, it's 6.5 megawatts from a third-party supplier. Soon after, in 2024, we got authorization to execute interconnecting agreements and purchase and power agreements with Silicon Ranch. And that kicked off the process for Silicon Ranch to construct a 6.5 megawatt solar farm that's near the Timberlake Industrial Park at our Buck Rock substation. So on December 29th, 2025, we worked with Silicon Ranch, got it energized. As of today, during the daytime, the power flowing into Buck Rock substation is coming from Silicon Ranch. We're purchasing that from Silicon Ranch at a lower rate through TVA. So ultimately, we have a lower wholesale power cost, which provides the system some savings. I think whenever they did the initial study, it was supposed to save us in the neighborhood of $350,000 a year in savings. I think that's probably pretty conservative. And the reason I say that is we did some switching in the field, put more load on Bud Crockett substation to actually get a little more bang for our buck as far as how much load is on Bud Crockett that'll be supplied from someone. So just one update board, that is online. It's pretty well a finalized project. There's a little bit of odd and end details that are still being worked out with TVA, but for the most part, that's a completed project, and something the board needs to know
How
about.
long has it been completed and up and running now? And we'll ask about maintenance.
December 29th, 2025 is when it was put online.
Okay,
It's
so,
been online since then.
so it's been a full year, so they,
No, like 2 months.
December, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just keep us posted the next year about how they, I'm just still concerned about the first year. It should be good. You know, what are they gonna do maintenance wise, what is it gonna look like instead of?
Yeah, so this solar farm is owned and maintained by Silicon Ranch. The maintenance of it belongs to them.
I understand.
Now, they should be incentivized to keep it maintained because, of course, most of the property is nothing but solar panels. And to
What's
keep
underneath
it,
those? Is it rock or gravel?
they're sowing grass.
So that's fine.
There's, there may be like a gravel base right around underneath the cells.
He just talked to us about goats and everything else about keeping.
Yeah, he did mention that.
He assured us. that-
I'll be curious if they put goats out there.
Yeah.
It is fully fenced in, so we'll see.
I just want to be sure that residents around there, and frankly, for our community sake, that it continues to look okay.
And we can keep an eye on it. If we see it's getting out of hand as far as maintenance goes, I got it direct line.
You said my point was kind of keep us posted. I'm gonna try to drive out there some gravel.
It's a pretty big deal. It's a big milestone for LDS. We've gone for many decades only buying power from TVA. And this is kind of turning the corner a little bit on how we do business buying wholesale power. So it's,
Across the country, this is gonna be something we're all faced with. Everybody, there's a bigger power need with AI coming in, with all these different entities, and it's gonna be a more.
yeah, they're going in everywhere. Carroll County Electric just had that one put in July of last year. Denton County Electric's, that's the next project Silicon Ranch is doing. They finished ours and they're in Denton
I
County.
just mean alternative sources of supply. Maybe it's solar, maybe it's other forms as we go forward.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of changing over the next decade as far as how energy is generated and stuff. So,
Are there any batteries out there to store what it generates? It feeds right in.
we go
and the
straight
sun
to our
goes
grid.
down.
Yeah, we go straight to our grid.
You have the peaks, that is in it.
Yeah, so so in the wintertime, we peak first thing in the mornings, that's when it's the coldest, and that's when, the energy demand is the highest, is, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning in the wintertime. In the summertime, it peaks, about 4 p.m. in the evening, when everybody's getting off work going home, is when it's the hottest part of the day too. We'll get the most savings in the summertime.
The controls, the switches is in the substation itself, to maintain that level.
So if the generation from the solar farm hits our grid, it gets back fed into Doug Crockett, and then it goes out to the feeder breakers and gets distributed to all the customers on that's being fed from Doug Crockett substation. If there's any excess, it goes back on the TVA, but we've switched around the system to try to limit or eliminate any excess in TVA. So that way we really, recoup all the savings we can off of it. Been a big project. Glad that one came in. Any other questions?
Thank you, Brad.
I don't know if you guys can see me or not, but if you haven't watched this whole video, you definitely need to go back to the beginning and watch. There were some fireworks. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, we will be doing a podcast, another episode of the Hidden Agenda. I definitely recommend you watch that because we'll touch base on what happened. But just for the guys who want to know, the gas rate 30 did not pass. We'll explain it all tomorrow. Y'all have a good one.